Hello and welcome to Body Purpose for this Ultra Yoga Beginners class. This class is perfect if you've never practiced yoga before, or if you've attended a few classes but felt it was maybe too challenging for you, or you felt more tense than relaxed after class and you thought maybe yoga is not for me. So in this class, I will guide you through some key yet simple yoga poses and their modifications. And I will also give you instructions that will allow you to release into each pose so that you can strengthen and lengthen without the tightening and the straining. And after the yoga asanas, which is another word for poses, we will do a relaxation followed by a short breathing exercise, also called pranayama. So if you haven't watched my video titled Why Practice Yoga, which recaps the benefits of yoga, I recommend you do so. I have put a link to it below. That being said, it's not an obligation and you can enjoy today's practice without watching it. Finally, one thing I love about yoga is that it's very portable, as little to no equipment is needed. That being said, I highly recommend you use at least a block or a pillow to sit on. If you don't have any of these, you can grab a bath or a beach towel that you can fold multiple times into a cushion so that you can sit on an elevated surface. So why sitting on an elevated surface? Well, it's important because it gives you a sort of a spine extension. Therefore, you are more likely to sit on your sit bones, which are the two little bones on each side of your bottom. And it's the most efficient way to sit for good posture rather than on your tailbone or lower spine, which will make your back round and collapse. Also, sitting on an elevated surface allows your hip joint sockets to have space to release and expand. And I will explain more about that once we're up and rolling, but it's very important. And I would also like you to grab a paperback book, if you have one, that you can place under your head when lying down during relaxation. So the book shouldn't be too thick nor too thin, but at a thickness that will keep your neck relatively parallel to the ground when lying down, so that your head doesn't, as you lie down, tilt back, shortening the back of your neck, or tilt forward too much, crunching your throat. All right, so also a mat is a good thing to have, but if you don't have any hardwood floor type of surface should work, okay? So that's it for the introduction, and let's get started. So as I mentioned in the introduction, make sure you're sitting on an elevated surface so that your hips are slightly higher than your knees. If you feel like that you're really collapsing your back and that you cannot feel your sit bones, that's the key here. If you place your hands right under your butt on each side of your bottom, you should feel those two little bones on your hands. All right, those are very important. You should really sit from that place rather than sit from a lower part of your spine, which will make you sit in a rounded collapsed position. Okay, so if you feel like you're sitting on your tailbone or your lower spine, which will lead to you rounding your back, grab an extra block or pillow or towel and lift yourself up. All right? So let's start with tuning into our practice. Very simply, sitting with your legs crossed in front of you on that elevated surface. I know I repeat myself, but it's important. You can close your eyes and take a few inhale, exhale. Labeling your breath, I am breathing in, and labeling your breath, I am breathing out. So that you can start coordinating your mind with your body and tuning into your practice. Breathing in, breathing out. Anchoring yourself onto your mat, in your room, in that moment. Now, I'd like you to repeat to yourself mentally, I choose not to tighten anywhere. And see if you notice any tension you may not have noticed before. I choose not to tighten anywhere, or I choose to let go of any unnecessary tension, is a good mantra to have throughout your practice and also off the mat. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Notice any tension you may not have noticed before. And allowing that tension to cascade down from the crown of your head, through your face, your neck, your shoulders, your back, sit bones into the ground. If this helps, you can imagine a sand timer, and imagining that tension to be the sand cascading down into the bottom part of the timer. Releasing your arms by your side. Bring your right shoulder to your right ear, roll it back, and let it go. Your elbow may bend or it may not bend, it doesn't matter. Let your body do what it's supposed to do. And now the left side, left shoulder to the left ear, rolling it back and dropping your arm back by your side. This is a nice way to open up the chest without forcing anything. It's just more organic this way. You can bring your hands back onto your knees. Breathing in and breathing out. Now let's do some head movement, some head warm-up. Think about your third eye and think about moving your head from the back of that location, okay? From the back of your head on the opposite side of the third eye. Most of the time we tend to move our heads from our neck muscles, and that's why we create a lot of neck tension. So instead, I'd like you to think of moving your head not from your neck muscles, but from that point behind your head on the opposite side of your third eye. Okay, so from this position, we're going to look to the right to start, and then back to center and look to the left, moving from that high point back of your head to the right. You can close your eyes if you wish. And remember, I choose not to tighten anywhere as you move. And to the left. And one more on each side, to the right. And to the left. Back to center. Now lifting your head up. Once again, you're moving from that high point, so you don't want to crunch your neck. And then back to center, and then looking down. And then looking up. And looking down. Remember, I choose not to tighten anywhere, allowing any tension to release down from the crown of your head to the floor through your sit bones. And back to center. Now we're going to do full circle. So you're going to bring your chin towards the chest and still moving from that high point and allowing any tension to release down into the ground through your sit bones. We're going to rotate the head 3 times to the right, so in a clockwise motion. Clockwork. Clockwise? Clockwork? I don't remember. That's fine. You know what I'm talking about. And last one to the right. Back to center and to the left. So really moving from that back of your head is key. It's very, very important not to move from the neck muscles, but from that spot behind your head on the opposite side of your third eye. And think about this every day as you move your head, as you turn, as you look around. All right, it'll help a lot, especially if you have neck tension. All right, now we're just going to rotate our wrist in one direction and then the next, just to warm up a little bit. The wrist. Good. Last one in each direction. Nice. Good. So now let's warm up the spine. And I'm going to come up to the side so you can see a little better. All right. So from the seated position, I'd like you to send your sit bones down and back and away from your head. And then send your sit bones down and forward away from your head. And down and back away from the head. Down and forward away from the head. Sit bones down and back away from the head, and sit bones down and forward away from the head. So the dynamic that you create between your sit bones and your head is going to allow your body to decide how much to round back and how much to arch forward. All right, so just think of sending your sit bones down and forward or back away from your head, and then let your body decide how much your spine should round or arch. Inhale, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Remember, I choose not to tighten anywhere. Allowing any tension to release as you move. All right, 3 more. Sending your sit bones down and back away from the head. Sending your sit bones down and forward and away from the head. And last one. Inhale, exhale. And back to center. Inhale. Exhale, allowing any tension to cascade down from the crown of your head to the ground through your sit bones. Good. Now, let's do a spine rotation. So now that we've warmed up the spine with that flexing motion, we're going to rotate. So once again, moving from your sit bones, you're going to come to the right and forward, sending your sit bones away from your head, and to the left, and sending your sit bones forward and away from your head. And so we're going counterclockwise here. Oh, that's clockwise, yeah. I got it when I stopped overthinking about it. Good. Allowing your armpits to release, to soften. This is key, not to crunch the shoulders. I know it sounds weird to say, how am I going to release my armpits, right? Well, you actually can't. Just have to focus on it. All right, rotating from those sit bones once again. Sending those sit bones away from your head and letting your body decide how much your spine should arch or round. And now we're going to change direction. Inhale as you come forward, exhale as you come back. Releasing at the armpit, softening there. Good, and last one. Perfect, back to center. Inhale, exhale, I choose not to tighten anywhere. Softening at the armpit, away from the head. And moving on to a standing position. So we actually want to be mindful of the way we're going from a sitting position to a standing position, and also from a standing position to a sitting position. So since we're seated and we want to stand, I'm going to show you a very hopefully easy way to stand up, but most importantly, a way that is as safe as possible. From the sitting position, you're going to bring both knees in front of you. You're going to drop those knees to the side, remove whatever you were sitting on, push it to the side. Now, from this position, you're going to come on all four. So with your knees under your hips and wrist right under your shoulders. From this position, you're going to bring one foot forward, doesn't matter which one, the one you're the most comfortable with. You're going to shift your back, your weight back, and then you're going to curl your opposite toe under, so your back foot toe. And from this position, you're going to send your feet into the ground and come up. All right, so hopefully that helped. Now that we're in a standing position, let's keep on moving. We're going to start with a posture called Tadasana, which is the mountain pose. Mountain pose is great for grounding and also to work on your balance and strengthening your legs. Generally speaking, any standing posture is recommended for that. And the vinyasa practice usually also starts with standing postures to move on to the floor later on. All right, so let's start in Tadasana. Our feet are hip width apart. Usually that means, so the feet are a wrist away from each other. Okay, if you see, that's about it. But if you prefer, for balance, if you prefer to have your feet wider, that totally works. Okay, so bringing your feet onto the ground. Taking a deep inhale and exhale. Once again, you remember that little mantra, I choose not to tighten anywhere? Well, that's very useful here as well. So you can either keep your eyes open or close your eyes. It depends on everybody's balance. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Repeat this mentally to you. Observing any tension you may not have noticed before, and allowing it to cascade down from your head to the ground through your ankles and feet. And observe what's happening. Your feet may want to expand onto the ground, which is good. Let it be. Expand them onto the ground. That's good. That's full grounding. Now, you will gently rotate your arms out from the armpit. Moving the arms from the armpit is very important. It allows you not to overuse your shoulders and upper back to do that and create tension in the process, because the shoulders are not meant to be moving your arms. Your armpits are. So opening your arms out. So you're rotating your arms out and away from your body, from the armpit, and then you're just going to bring the palms of your hands back towards your body. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Releasing the tension from the head to the ground, through the face, neck, shoulders, back, glutes, legs, ankles and feet. Allowing the feet to expand onto the ground if required. Allow the armpit to soften. Allow the hip joint sockets to soften as well. The hip joint sockets are where the legs and torso meet. So it's on each side of the pubic bone, and you can put your thumbs in there. Okay, this I will very often refer to soften at the hip joint sockets or at the hip joints, and this is it. The hip joints are not the hips or the hip bones. Okay, any flexions you want to soften here. All right, very important. So in Tadasana, you can also feel the release, the expansion at that spot, or the softening, okay? At the back of the knee as well, and at the front of the ankle. Okay, so soften at the armpit, hip joint sockets, back of the knee, front of the ankle. This may mean that your knees are bending slightly, and that's totally fine. Allowing your back to expand in length and width. So you have great poise. You have strength, but you don't have tension. You don't have unnecessary tension. There's always muscular tension to some degree, but unnecessary tension is like it says, unnecessary. And you can get rid of that unnecessary tension by repeating that little mantra, I choose not to tighten anywhere, and softening at certain spots like the hip joints, back of the knee, front of the ankle, armpits. And by doing so, your skeleton, your bones expand. And they expand into a beautiful Tadasana. Beautiful posture. Now we're going to move on to the tree pose, which is a balancing pose. But I will give you 3 modifications in case you wonder about your balance. So the first modification is you can put your entire body against the wall. The second modification is you can grab a chair and hold on to it onto the side. Or the third modification is, instead of having your foot all the way up, you can keep your toes onto the ground. Okay? But let's first give you the instructions to get into the pose. So from Tadasana, you're going to balance your weight from the right and the left, gently. And I don't recommend you close your eyes for this one, especially if you've never done it before. It's a lot. It's very challenging, even I can't always do it. Depends on the day. All right, so balancing your weight from one foot to the next, allowing any tension to cascade down from the crown of your head to the floor through your ankles and feet. We're going to keep the weight on the right side. And we're going to lift the left foot. And like I said, you can either keep your toes onto the ground and put your heel against your standing leg above the ankle. Or if you have the balance, you can bring the entire foot against the bottom part of your leg. Once again, you can grab a chair and hold on to it, or you can move your entire body against the wall. So the key here is that you're in a balanced position, but you still want to release into the posture, right? You still want to release into that pose. So how do you do that? Well, once again, I choose not to tighten anywhere and releasing any tension from the head to the floor through your entire body. Releasing at the armpit, bringing your hands together in front of the heart center. Keep releasing the armpit away from the head. Keep releasing at the hip joints, the back of the knee, front of the ankle. Allow the ground to support you in return, so that you're really grounded and creating this connection. If it's available to you, moving from the armpit, you're going to bring your arms all the way up, releasing any tension from the tip of your fingers to the ground through your wrists, elbows, armpits, back, glutes, legs, ankles and feet, into the ground. Also, find a spot to keep your eyes on. That'll help with balance. But remember, you don't want to have your head up or too low. You don't want to crunch your neck nor your throat. Inhale, exhale, bringing your arms down, bringing both feet onto the ground, and release. You can check your legs. Good, back into Tadasana. Sending your feet into the ground. And now this time, we're going to balance on the left leg. And you can do this little shift of balance from one foot to the next. Good, now this time we're going to be on the left foot. Once again, you can switch sides for the chairs that you can hold on to, or put your body against the wall. You can also keep your toes onto the ground and put your heel above your ankle, or you can challenge yourself, and as long as you're not creating any tension, you can bring your foot up against your lower leg. In a lot of classes, instructors advise to press that foot against the leg, but I don't instruct that because it's creating unnecessary tension. Instead, it's best to release any tension that you may have into the ground, allowing the ground to support you in return, and that takes care of the balance usually. So, bringing your hands in front of you, heart center. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Releasing at the armpits, hip joint sockets, back of the knee, front of the ankle. Moving from the armpit, bringing your hands all the way up. Imagine that sand timer, with the sand being the tension cascading down from the tip of your fingers through your wrists, arms, armpits, back, glutes, legs, ankles and feet. Into the ground. Inhale, exhale. And bringing your arms back down. And you can shake your legs. Excellent. Moving on to warrior two. We're going to bring our feet wider apart. From this position, you're going to turn the right foot out, and the left foot you're going to bring it to a 45-degree position. Okay? Now, from this position, you're going to bend the right leg, sending your feet into the ground. And then moving from the armpits, you're going to bring your arms out to the side and parallel to the ground. You're going to gaze at the middle finger. Inhale, exhale, sending your feet into the ground, sending any tension you may have into the ground. Softening at the armpit, softening at the hip joints, back of the knee, front of the ankle. Inhale, exhale. Keep gazing at that middle finger on your right hand. Remember always moving your head from that high point on the opposite side of your third eye so that you don't overuse your neck muscles. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, bend it again, sinking down. I choose not to tighten anywhere, noticing any tension, allowing it to cascade down into the ground through your ankles and feet. Softening at the armpit. Good. Extend, and last time, bending your knees. Sending the right knee away from your hip joint socket. Sending your foot down into the ground. Inhale, standing up, switching sides. Bringing your left foot towards the left and your right foot 45 degrees. And when I say 45 degrees, oh, you can release your arms too. Sorry. When I say 45 degrees, it's just an indication. You can adjust based on how your body reacts to the posture. There's no it should be 45 degrees. It's just a rough indication for you to know what's happening with that back foot. Good. Now, from the armpit, moving your arms up, bending the left knee this time, gazing at your middle left finger. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Allowing any tension to release down into the ground. Softening at the armpits so that your shoulders are allowed to release down towards the ground as well. Inhale, exhale. Allowing your feet to expand onto the ground if they want to. And extend your leg. And bend again, sending your knee away from your hip joints, releasing at the hip joints at the same time. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Imagine the tension cascading down to the ground. And extend your legs. Last time, bend and release. Release the tension and allow your bones to expand. Fingers away from each other's, head away from the feet, feet away from the head. Inhale, stand, and release. You can shake it off. Good job. So, the next standing posture we're going to do is called Uttasana. I'm actually going to come onto the side for this one. So, once again, a quick reminder, which is really important, is the hip joints is right here, each side of your pubic bone. This is very important for Uttasana because we really want to release at this spot as we bend forward. Okay? You will see a lot of this posture with legs straight, but I actually do not keep my legs straight, and I don't recommend you do, only because very few people can have their legs completely straight and be released at the hip joints at the same time, and therefore having their back lengthen at the same time. It's very advanced, and not a lot of people can do it, but a lot of tension can be created. We're going to fold forward, releasing at the hip joints, releasing at the back of the knee, releasing at the front of the ankle, and then you're going to grasp your elbows, releasing your head, taking some deep inhale, exhale. The more you release at the hip joints, the more your sit bones can be sent to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. You'll notice if you soften at the hip joints, your back is going to lengthen and your sit bones are going to move up. And you can swing from right to left if it's available to you. Inhale, exhale. Keep softening at the hip joints, back of the knee, front of the ankle. One more breath. Release your arms, send your feet into the ground as you come back up. Okay, nice, shake it off. All right, now we're going to come down into seated position. So you remember when we transitioned from sitting to standing, I showed you a way to do it that I find is safe. Now we can do the same going down. All right, so you're going to stand towards the back edge of your mat, and we're going to bring one foot forward. We're going to come into one of our knees, the back knees. And then we're going to transfer the weight to the side and come into a seated position. There you go. All right, grab that pillow, block, or towel so you can sit elevated. Back into our seated position with our legs crossed in front of us. Inhale, exhale. I choose not to tighten anywhere. Allowing the tension to release down into the ground through your sit bones. Releasing our arms by our side, let's rotate the shoulders again, bringing the right shoulder to the right ear and releasing it down. And left shoulder to the left ear, roll it back, releasing it down. Good. From this position, if it's available to you, we're going to walk our hands forward into a seated forward fold. So this is easy pose with extension. You can bring your elbows onto your mat if it's more comfortable. Releasing at the hip joints. Releasing at the armpits, softening there. You can even, if you really focus, release at the back of the head on the opposite side of the third eye, so that you free the head from the neck. Setting your head away from the sit bones away from the head. If you want to increase the stretch, you can come further down, bringing your forehead to the mat. Soften at the hip joints. Allowing the spine to expand in width and length. Inhale, exhale. Walking your hands back. Sending your hands down into the ground so that you can come into an upright position. From the seated position, we're going to do a twist, a rotation. Now, I don't want you to focus too much on the rotation. I really want you to keep focusing on keeping a nice head, neck, torso alignment and to keep a nice length of the spine. And we do that by continuously reminding ourselves, I choose not to tighten anywhere, and allowing any excess tension to release down into the ground through our sit bones, and at the same time to allow the ground to support us in return, and releasing at the armpits and hip joint sockets. So inhale, exhale, sending our sit bones down into the ground, allowing the tension to release through those sit bones into the ground, releasing at the armpits. When I say releasing, I really mean softening at the hip joints, allowing our back to take its space in width and length. Now bringing our right hand onto our right knee, we're going to twist to the left, and you can bring your left hand behind you, keeping your head in alignment with your spine, not looking up, not looking down. Remember that opposite point of your third eye. Allowing any tension to release down your face as well. Keeping that nice length, sit bones away from head, head away from sit bones. Inhale, come to center and switch sides, bringing your left hand onto your right knee, bringing your right hand behind your body. Keeping that nice length of the spine. And coming back to center. Inhale, exhale deeply. Wonderful. Now we're coming into a Sphinx position, which means we will be lying down onto the ground on our belly. Good, so we're on our belly, and we're going to bring our forehead to the mat, hands on each side of our head. Inhale, exhale, allow any tension to release down into the ground through your forehead, hands, elbows, belly, legs and feet. While you keep releasing that tension, setting your hands onto the mat, sending your elbows onto the mat, you're going to come into a Sphinx position. And you can please bring your elbows slightly forward so that they are more or less under your shoulders or slightly forward of your shoulders. Allow your feet to separate if need be. And inhale, exhale. I choose not to tighten anywhere. You can close your eyes, enjoying that back flexion. Inhale, exhale. Release down, bringing your hands on each side of your shoulders. Sending your hands into the ground so you can come into child's pose. Sitting on your heels, you can keep your arms extended in front of you. Or you can bring them alongside your body with the palms facing up. Feeling your breath, expanding your body on each inhale. Exhale, releasing any excess tension. A couple more breaths here. Bringing your hands on each side of your knees, sending those hands into the ground and coming up. So to get into the relaxation, remember that paperback book I asked you to grab at the very beginning of this class. Well, you will need it now, okay? So grab your paperback book. If you have a towel that you can roll and put under your knees during relaxation, I would also highly recommend that, so that your lower back is less likely to arch when lying down. So I'm going to put that here because I'm going to put my legs on top of it. So coming into a lying down position, you can slide to your side and then roll onto your back, placing that paperback book under your head but not under your neck, okay? So it should be under the head, and you should be able to slide a hand under your neck. So the reason for that is your neck then have the space to expand as you release tension into the ground. So that's corpse pose. Like I said, I like to put something under my knees, so it allows my lower back to be a little bit more grounded. Your arms are by your side, palms facing the ceiling. I choose not to tighten anywhere, allowing any tension to release into the ground through your supports. So through your head, shoulders, back, glutes, ankles and feet into the ground. Focusing on your breath. Inhale, exhale. And resting there in silence. Inhale, exhale, wiggle your toes and fingers. Rotate your ankles and wrists in one direction then the next. If it's available to you, bringing your arms overhead and stretching out. And then bringing one knee at a time into your chest, placing your hands onto your knees without tightening. You can roll from the right and the left, allowing your back to expand and lengthen width. Releasing your hands down, releasing your feet one at a time onto the ground. And then allowing both knees to drop onto one side. Keep the momentum going, putting your hands onto the ground. Coming into all four. And then coming back into a seated position. Grab whatever you were sitting on. I'm going to grab my favorite pillow. And we're going to end this practice with a short breathing exercise. So breath work is called pranayama in yoga. It's very simple. We're going to do 4 inhale and 4 exhale. So it's equal inhale, equal exhale. So 4 seconds inhale, 4 seconds exhale, which should bring your breath rate to about 8 breaths a minute. And this is wonderful to stimulate the parasympathetic system. Oh, what is that? Well, the parasympathetic system is your rest and digest part of the nervous system. So it's really great to lower stress level and to feel chill. All right, so let's chill out. Well, hopefully you are already a little chilled out after this practice, but it's always nice to end with some breath work that cement all this. All right. Okay, so very easy, sitting in a cross-legged position. Inhale, exhale. I choose not to tighten anywhere. We want to start with that, allowing any tension to cascade down from the crown of your head to the ground through your face, neck, shoulders, back, glutes, sit bones. Bringing your arms loose by your side, bringing the right shoulder to the right ear, rotating it back, allowing it to release and lift. Back. Good. So we're going to count. We're going to do this for 3 minutes, okay? So it's pretty short, but it'll give you a taste of what it is. You feel free to repeat this exercise throughout your day when you feel stressed out. It's great. It's like water, you know, drink water all day long. It's cool. Same for that kind of breath. You can do this each time you feel a little stressed out, or just take a little break during the day to chill out. All right, so inhale for 4 counts. Exhale for 4. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale, I'll let you go at your own pace. Just count 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Last minute. Taking a deep inhale, exhale. Breathing normally. Opening your eyes. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about this particular class or anything about yoga. If you also like this video, please thumb it up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to BodyPurpose channel for more videos on yoga, especially for beginners. Thank you very much and have a wonderful week.